Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you Sunday, July the 25th. The year's 2021. Let's talk trading. Weekly open and gap. And this video is for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. And just a reminder as we come into the last trading week of the month, risk management. Don't lose more on any one particular trade than you are willing to lose. So as we look at the weekly chart, all the gaps have filled so far, so I hope any weekly gap traders had a chance to cash in on those weekly gaps. Now we're putting in this week's range so far, and you can see we're right at the edge, right at the low here of the opening range for the month. We are 110 pips above the weekly open. And Friday formed an inside bar that actually spans across the low of the weekly inside bar from 3 weeks ago. So you might look to short at 37.41 and then a 37.19 and look to long, say, let's just call it 37.80. So those are some points. And we've got a lot of inside bar action here. Look at all this gray and blue. So for those of you who like to trade inside bars, go ahead, take your pick. Now we've got one pair over 100, the pound New Zealand, or the new beast as I like to call it, 109 pips. Not sure what caused that move so far. And looks like we've already taken out the pivot, which was right, looks like it was right at the daily open. That's pretty interesting. Rats, range is still too low at 23.8. And you can see here on the pivot trading plan, daily open above the pivot point. Inside value, so it says we look for a breakout here. And we've already taken out today's pivot. So we still have a missed pivot from 5 days ago and 2 days ago. So let's see which one gets taken out first. In and out of the lower wick zone. So any wick zone traders, you've had a couple opportunities to pick up some pips so far. And looking at the weekly range so far, it's only 24. So we're at the 0 percentile. And looking at the wall mall, even though we don't do wall mall during these opening hours here, for those of you who trade the Asian session, it's still effective, but you just won't be looking for those 20 pip ranges. You might only look for 10 pip ranges, and you might only look just to grab a couple of pips and be happy. Take it before the market takes it back. Like you can see right here, there's a chance to get 3 if you took that 60 break, but the market took it back before that hour closed. And just looking here at the higher low, lower high action for the moment, you can see we're coming off a 2 ball, then off a 1 ball. But once again, this time of day, I really don't trade that type of action that much. And I said this week we're going to be talking about analyzing charts. So we could go back and let's see, we can look at the weekly chart for the pound. And let me take a moment here. And my allergies are killing me, so I didn't think you guys wanted to hear me blow my nose. So that's why if you think my voice sounds funny, I'm a little stopped up. So, analyzing the weekly chart. what do we see? We see price came down and penetrated these lows and basically bounced off of this low, came through these lower wicks and moved up. So looking at the week, we've got a red candle here, a red candle here. So for price to have clear sailing, it needs to get above this open right here from 2 weeks ago. We still need to take out that weekly pivot, so that's something to keep in the back of your mind. And we've also had a big week down right there, and I would consider that to be a return bar on the weekly. So you might even look to play for longs to actually get to this level once again. Of course, anything can happen, and this is basically, we're just analyzing the chart here, looking for areas where price may reach, where price may stall, where price may reverse. Anything's possible, but some areas just seem to be those areas. So, for example, if you look here, you look left. Well, what happened here? Price kept pushing down. It took price, third try to get up here, and then same thing here. There was, price got pushed down. Finally had to push through that way. So that's part of the analyzing the chart. So you can see here, price pushed down twice, and then it pushed down and then finally broke it in the following week. So we could have anything from price coming down here, hitting the pivot, turning around, and taking out this pivot all in the same week. It's, that's in the realm. You see prices at 37.51, so it's between 37 and 38, practically dead center. So what's more likely, going to 38, going to 37? Who knows, right? But you just start playing those. Now, some people think, well, the closer it is to 38, then the more likely it is to hit 38. Well, maybe, maybe not. That's why you have to look at other clues on the chart. You could drop down to the 1 hour, drop down to the daily, but, this is the weekly open, so we'll focus on the weekly chart. And we look at the statistics. So by looking at these weekly ranges, we can see, well, there's a chance, most likely, it's probably going to range at least 100 and say 40, 50 pips. And it has a chance maybe to get to 200. So what you can do is you can look at this and go, so if it's already put in the low for the week, then you can go up 150. If it's already put in the high for the week, you can go down 150 and plot some lines saying, well, this is where price could go just based on the range. And then as it makes those new highs and lows, then you can start moving those lines, based on that. And that's just, one of the little, could call it a trick or method, or just one of the things you do when you're analyzing the chart, just to kind of plot things out. And then you can leave those lines on the chart, jot them down on a note, stick it in an alert, and then you can just see what happens. And when you do this, week after week, since we're talking about the weekly charts, then sooner or later you're going to start to see some things for yourself. And you might go, oh, that's what TRO was talking about, or oh, I've never seen this before. And that's what you want to have happen, so that way you start to develop as a trader, and then you can basically rely on yourself to take these trades, and you'll have more confidence when you're able to see these things and figure them out, as opposed to listening to somebody else telling you what to do, or even relying on the indicators. Because if you could do it by hand, then the indicators are, that's just a tool. But if you can't do it by hand, then the indicators are a crutch. Just, you just have to realize that. And that's one of the reasons I don't like squiggly line indicators, because it would take too long to plot them. And so to me, if anything, they're a crutch. They're something that people use basically to try and market their wares, either their code or their system or their book or their seminar or whatever. Just when they give things fancy names, or they give things scientific sounding names or whatever. Um, you just have to be careful out there. And so right now we're hovering right around that weekly open, and price has to range from the weekly open. So you could just sit there. Let's see. Whoops. Where is it? You can just sit there and just look at the buy zone and say, okay, price is by the open. Has to range. Which way does it go? Don't know, but here's the high of the day, here's the low of the day so far. It's most likely it's going to make a higher high for the day, or a lower low for the day, or it's going to do both. But chances are it's not going to do neither. It hasn't ranged enough. So that's another thing you can analyze on the chart. So you look at the current range, and then you look at, well, that's really low. Probably has to range more, and the only way for it to do it is to break out. So you just sit there and wait and anticipate that breakout. Does it work every time? Of course not. Sometimes it'll hit it, reverse. Just as soon as you enter, it reverses, and you take a loss. But that's trading. You just don't know. That's why you have your stop loss in place. So that's pretty much it for the weekly wrap up. Let me know if you have any questions about some of the charting that I just spoke of. And we'll pick up tomorrow. I don't know if Wallball will be on or not, but I'll be sharing some things we do on, say, the daily chart and on the hourly chart, or maybe even the M5 chart. So, fellow traders, when you sit down in front of your charts, just remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So, go out there and trade the banks. And I like to say thank you to the one person that joined the Never Lose Again Reddit subgroup. I appreciate it. Thank you. So, this is the Rumpled One, over and out.